Welcome to another episode of Rebel City Podcast. How's it going, Matt? Another one over Skype, mate?
Yeah, aye. This is the new normal, eh?
Aye. Welcome to the fucking People's Socialist Republic of Glasgow. That we're currently
I think it's
sitting
been
in.
quite cool. I mean, there's been a lot of really cool stuff happening online. Hopefully, we're in amongst that.
Uh-huh.
But aye, people are adapting.
Aye, absolutely. Did you catch the stand-up comedy? Was it Saturday night?
I did not, but only because on Saturday, after a full week in town and in the office, I kind of wanted to just sort of disconnect and not have to really think very much about stuff. So I watched like 14 hours of MasterChef on BBC iPlayer. I just went like the full day for like getting up to getting, back to bed again, watching Greg Wallace stuff his face with like sticky toffee pudding. It was amazing.
Just as you say MasterChef, I'm going to remind Sean that fucking Bake Off's on the night. So this was something that I was talking to one of my flatmates or housemates, whatever, about, where I was like, it's funny getting excited about dinner. Like, life is so minimalist now that the idea of like eating dinner and what you're going to have for your dinner isn't just exciting in the sense that like, oh, what's for dinner, but is actually exciting, where I'm like, I'm buzzing for dinner. I'm fucking buzzing for, like, last night I had frozen pizza and chips and I was so buzzing for it.
Your council dinner, and you're like, like it's a 3-star meal. We've definitely been cooking a lot more, or Stacey, probably more accurately, has been cooking a lot more. And it's been nice to have like proper meals, like have the family around at breakfast. It's quite an odd one, as we are usually up at various stages of going to work and school and stuff like that. So there's been a few nice wee like things centred around meals. I think that's really the only option we've got at the minute, isn't it?
Aye, absolutely, mate. But you're getting proper excited for just like the most sort of littlest of things. But there has been, like you were saying there, mate, there has been a couple of like nice positives that are almost like double negatives for me, but I'm actually missing family and missing friends. This is the type of thing that you would just normally just take for granted.
Of course.
But I was sitting earlier on with Darren, and we were just sitting on like a Google video streaming type thing, and had it on like a wee thing, and we must have sat for about an hour and a half, and he was sitting with his guitar and I was sitting with my guitar, and we were sitting playing stuff, but no really playing stuff. We were just kind of like talking.
Aye.
But I mean, it's probably the most present that I've been with a mate outside of yourself, because obviously when we're podcasting I'm very present, but it's probably the most present that I've been for a conversation in a long time. And I think that as the luxuries, or I don't think they're even seen as luxuries anymore, but the actual luxuries of life that is like getting stripped away, it's the sort of wee things like that are going to actually keep me sane. So I'm just wanting to just sort of acknowledge it.
Something I'll probably like, lean on you for in the coming week. As of today, this is my first day working from home. So, my partner, she's into her second week. I know you're into your second week. The schools are finishing as well. So I'm very early stages of this isolation, and having the ability to work from home has definitely, so far today, kept me busy. So, I'm not quite at the stage where I've had that sort of chance to reflect, but I, can't imagine that there's folk out there that don't agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think that we really just have to stay positive, and if that means, as you say, being a wee bit sort of grateful and mindful of the things that help us get through the day, then all the better.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. Some of the responses to this, I mean, well, like sitting here 24 hours into lockdown, air quotes, because you never said it or whatever, like, but we're supposed to be in lockdown, and we're 24 hours in, and there's been some very strange reactions, but there's also, before that, I mean, there was some very strange reactions in the last sort of 7 days since we last sat down and did a podcast. I think some of the business reaction, I mean, I think Richard Branson was the first, and I think that everybody sort of jumped on that with, Virgin Atlantic, whether or not it's actually Richard Branson himself, but that was the first, and everybody was kind of like shocked. But it's almost been like a domino effect of sort of like horribleness for people's sort of works and shit, man. It's been mental to watch.
It's something that, as we were talking in the last episode, things are going to change as normality comes back, and a lot of the nonsense that we've been asked to put up with in recent years for business and government probably won't be acceptable anymore. And I think this is, a kind of death knell for some of this behaviour in a lot of respects. I mean, we dug out Branson last week, and rightfully so, or Virgin as it is. This week we've got Mike Ashley trying to claim that Sports Direct staff should be considered essential workers, and you're a bit like, okay, but I mean, I think pretty much, well, I don't know what essential service they provide. I think we're, probably all right for tracksuits and like giant mugs.
Aye, he's clutching at straws, really, isn't he?
And it seemed really, I mean, why would you want stores to remain open when everywhere else is locked down? Because nobody has gone anywhere. So why would you be asking staff to come in and put up with that? I don't know. We've also got the Brexit nutter who runs Witherspoons.
Tim
something.
Aye, Russell Gummidge.
Nice but dim. Aye. Or not nice, and probably still dim. He's just thrown 40,000 people under the bus. Some really quite emotive stories online for long-term members of staff that, probably is worthwhile looking at the reality of what these decisions impact people. But, construction sites, there's loads of places just now that are still trying to act as though it's business as usual. I think come the other side of this, there will be a backlash, there will be a kind of reckoning, I think, for a lot of brands, a lot of companies that have not acted with, their people as their priority right now.
Absolutely, man. I think that I was talking to somebody on Twitter about it earlier on, and saying that it's strange watching the American equivalent, or the American billionaires, like the tech billionaires, and it seems to be like predominantly new money guys like Zuckerberg, who I think they'd been stockpiling ventilators for a bad Californian fire, and they donated that, and they were donating, and Elon Musk had donated money towards like the cause to buy X, Y, and Z, and people. But then you come over here, and it's like the old billionaires, or like the original billionaires. These guys are just clutching at looking at to save money. I mean, the Mike Ashley situation, you're probably thinking, well, I'm thinking, what's this about? Like you're saying, there's no footfall to these stores, so it's not about profit. This has got to be some kind of, I don't know, like maybe he's having to do this before he can claim his insurance. Is he waiting for the government to tell his specific business to close so that he can then have such an argument for claiming his insurance? That could be one thing, but the other thing is that the government announced that they're guaranteeing people's wages up to 80%, right? So why are retail staff, like non-essential retail staff that are selling, like you're saying, fucking tracksuits and trainers, being asked to go in? Surely they can just refuse and get 80% of their pay paid by the government if it's guaranteed like that.
Hope so.
But
you would hope so.
You've got to. It's just. I mean, that type of greed. That it's disgusting. And like you've said, I think there is going to be a list of people. We need to come up with like a good name for this list, but there's going to be a list of people and brands, Topshop, G1 in Glasgow. I mean, we had this situation in Glasgow where notorious fucking Glasgow kingpin or whatever, Stefan Kings, who owns the fucking G1 group that are the majority of the nightclubs in Glasgow.
Okay.
He let every single person go and like just paid everybody off that works in the venues and closed the venues when the first sort of government implication of like restaurants, bars and clubs had to close. So then the government announced the 80% deal and he rehired them.
Right, okay.
So it's just pure greed. These people, they're not going to personally go bankrupt or under, like people like Branson, even down to like guys that are owning nightclubs and pubs like Stefan King. Like, this guy's not going to go short
Yeah.
for his own sort of personal, like taking care of his family, which should be everybody's number one concern right now, is the health and well-being of themselves, their family, those closest to them. And if you own a business, your people, you're responsible for these
Absolutely.
people. And basically, like, we've just watched a full week to 10 days of people just literally shitting their own hands and fucking rub it in their face because they're going to come out the other side of this. And people are just going to refuse point blank. I will never go to Sports Direct ever again. Topshop can get fucked. Know that I would be in Topshop anyway, but if there's a brand out there that has supported their people went above and beyond, then I'm definitely going to be more likely to go and shop and give these people my custom rather than the ones that are clinging on for the last fucking penny to drop before they send people home.
Completely agree. I mean, you look at things like B&M, you know, essentially a kind of glorified pound shop putting £30 million aside for their staff. The minute it became obvious to them this is the route we were going down as a country. And that's the type of stuff that down the line is going to buy companies a lot of goodwill. It's smart business sense to look after your people so that when you need to open back up, they're raring to go. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like you've went to bat for them, and when the time comes to repay that, they're going to be keen to do so. You know what I mean? Like, as normality, hopefully some form of normality starts to creep back in, you're not going to want to have an entire workforce that is in no way, shape or form motivated to come in and do anything for you. Because if you've been just thrown to the curb or left in precarious financial situations as a result of dithering or waiting for other people to make the decision for you and stuff like that, then your staff are going to remember that. And it's not even just about the customers. Imagine the atmosphere of a place that you go back and nobody wants to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's maybe a lot of places out there like that already, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, this is, you know, looking after the people is a no-brainer, both with customers and with staff. Like, no doing it is just, you know, well, it should be, at least for a lot of these people, like financial suicide. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And I genuinely hope that it is. I genuinely hope that there's so much change that comes out the other side of such fucking horrible circumstances. Like, this is painful, like having to stay indoors and having to stay away from your family, like going and seeing my mum through the window on Mother's Day, or like these types of things. Like, this is painful, and we need to come out the other side and learn for this, and don't just go back to the way that things were. I think we had almost like hit a point where we're all kind of sick of the way that things are going, and there seems to be an appetite for this massive change, whether it be on the right or on the left, whatever way that you decide to sort of put your where your chips may lie. Do you know what I mean? Basically, like, but I think that now that we're seeing that everybody's affected by this and we're all peers and we're all equals in this, then, and there are, like, I hate to say it, but the middle classes are getting forced to use the benefit system, or a percentage of the middle classes are getting forced to use the benefit system. All of a sudden, we're seeing people say it's impossible for me to survive on £95 a week. We on this podcast, we have spoke many times with many different fucking guests about the shambles that is universal credit. So I feel that we have got almost like a right to say this is what we've been saying. Like, we've been saying this for so long. Maybe people will actually start to take fucking notice. Yeah.
I think we need to be careful about when we start saying these things. I think at the minute we kind of take the message away from just shut it down, follow the advice and all the rest of it. But these conversations, as I've been saying, you know, as life begins to sort of creep back in, are going to be exactly the type of conversations we need to have, because if it's not all right to live on 94 quid a week now, it's not going to be all right to live on 94 quid a week then. And it's never been all right to live on 94 quid a week. You know what I mean? Like, and it needs to be more than just somebody like Jeremy Hunt standing in front of a TV camera going, I mean, I got it wrong, who knew? You know what I mean? Like, is it a day of a week? And you're like, well, it's nice of you to catch on now. I mean, but you knew that at the time, you know. These aren't the stupid guys, these aren't the like accidental policies, you know what I mean? But they definitely need to be addressed down the line. I mean, I think, you know, the message seems to have got lost for some people in terms of the last week, and it's obviously led to the tightest restrictions that, you know, we've seen in this country since wartime. And I was a bit sort of kind of stunned by some of it. You know what I mean? Like, I was desperate to get in my office, and I was desperate to get my guys out of the office as well. So the notion that other people had the options to be at home or to work at home and were like fucking off in the park or going to the beach, like people try to self-isolate in the Highlands, and you're like, the contagion rates up there must be minimal given how sparsely populated it is. The last thing it needs is people travelling from big cities to pitch up in the Highlands and try and wait for this thing to like blow over. Like the logic and the thinking behind it was, it just absolutely baffled me.
Like mind-boggling, dude. Like Darren was telling me that he'd done a Skype call with his cousin Harris, and so many people turned up on Friday that there was some people got on the island and the police had to go and round them up and take them back off. And there's some people coming from like near London and these types of places, and obviously Glasgow and Edinburgh.
I mean, look, they shut a mountain to get people off it. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, what were they doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, total clowns, man. Like, and I get why folk are reacting in the manner that they have. I think that the same as we go when people refuse to avoid pubs and clubs that last night, and obviously got a lot higher. And you know, I totally get people's anger on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't get the decision making that led people there when the advice was so blatantly stay at home and do not run the risk of making this worse.
Absolutely. I think that from my perspective, we've gave the bulk buyers so much grief. And these people are just living in just fear. They're just responding through their own fear, and they're scared people. Yep. But see the blasé, like when I seen the pictures of, I think it was Troon, Brighton, and then on Monday morning the London Underground, and people packed on that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, every week I tend to try and prepare some notes and bullet points that will, you know, spark my conversation as we go through the show. And really, as I opened up my phone today, I just had one note on my phone, and it just said "idiots." Exactly right. So that was all I needed to prompt, you know, myself through the conversation, was just one word that said "idiots."
Yeah, absolutely.
They absolutely need called it. So they do. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, they don't have the type of negative impact on their lives that is being told is possible. Like, I wouldn't go as far as to wish this on people that made those mistakes, because that's just not the way to handle it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they're going to have to answer some serious questions if people are in them they for no will. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot to sort of take on for an extra couple of pints. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, just some of it was just fucking ridiculous. One of the things that I noticed was quite funny, or no funny, but just like interesting to see it happening, is the amount of people that have had to really just adapt to working online and whatever their classes and whatever, like they've started to try and innovate. And some of the, like, it's almost like this weird thing where people don't really class that if somebody was working full time for themselves online, let's just say it was a YouTuber or Twitch, whatever it is, it's almost like the parents or the generation before that would be like, that isn't a real job. But now we've all been forced into isolation. These people have been forced into this space to try and invade, like to try and just keep their businesses going. And there was two things that I noticed about it. One was a lot of them are doing content for free. And I think some of the people that are legacy online workers that have been doing this maybe for, like, say, the last sort of 5-6 years, whatever, they're getting a bit pissed off that there's an element of what these people are doing is, because they're trying to introduce themselves to doing this online or whatever, they're giving an element away for free. And you can see them sort of going, like, you shouldn't be giving that away for free. Like, this industry is established. Don't, like, just jump in and start firing out, like, the content that people usually pay for free to attract customers. And also getting the sort of people of, like, that isn't a real job, or having to try and adapt and get used to it. It must be like, I mean, I can imagine it must be fucking scary if you're used to doing like 1-to-1 personal training's been a big one. I think, like, the workouts I've not seen as many people offer like home and online workouts as what I've seen in the last 10 days.
And you mean things like counselling services and what else that can do their stuff online, right? Cool, on with you.
Absolutely. So they're coming in, and so let's just take sort of like the counselling service. If you were to try and sort of entice people, you'd be like, well, I'll give you like a free session or whatever. You would have somebody that's been a counsellor online for a while going, wait a minute, pal. Like, you can't just jump in like out of nowhere and just infiltrate this. It's been interesting to watch them sort of like happen at the same time. Just to see people try and adapt to their life as like life, the majority of social and economical just seems to have moved into you need to work within your home.
Yeah. So it's evolution, isn't it? You know what I mean? Or, at least a relatively sort of modern format where people are going to need to adapt and find new ways to work. It's just, especially if, as we discussed last week, there's multiple waves of this nonsense. Like, you know, working from home is going to become a big reality for folk. But I can't say I've really spent too much time on it because obviously I was still working to this point. But it's an interesting thought process that somebody who has a relatively robust online service is going to undercut because people are now having to,
the market's kind of like
ways to actually sell their services.
The market's kind of like coming to them where they've had almost like niches where, I mean, I don't think you would quite say that an online personal trainer's a niche, but if you're in a city, say like Glasgow, and you're a really good online personal trainer and you're getting work, whatever, and then all of a sudden every personal trainer around about you is doing the exact same thing that you're doing, and they're trying to sort of entice people and introduce themselves to people by doing it cheaper or whatever it is. You can imagine that would be a scary time as well. That, I mean, obviously them having the shot at these people is just another fear response, I think. Or the quite a lot of this is just going to be sort of like wrapped in fear.
Aye, and it's something we need to be careful with. Like, you know, like change is always scary. It's always unsettling. Like, the natural reaction to these types of things is the stress and anxiety and anger and whatever else, fear. We can't let these things overcome us, especially this early in the process. We need to look to how other countries have been dealing with this, how their populations have been doing their best to get by, and just kind of like take what we can for it and just keep trying to, as we've said already, stay positive, man. Like, there's no benefit in letting the negativity in and overwhelming us. You know what I mean? Well, it serves no meaningful purpose other than holding us back again.
I've been finding myself actually like purposefully distance myself reading about it, and I mean, you can't go near anything right now. It's literally
you can't avoid that.
Absolutely, but I'm being way more mindful of the amount that I engage with. I'm maybe trying to watch the update if Nicola Sturgeon or if Boris is addressing like they did last night. I'll watch that, but I mean, even I had noticed that I was just getting fucking overloaded by it. Do you know what I mean? So I take a purposeful step back. Do you know what I mean? So that I'm not just completely overwhelming myself with it. And again, I suppose that's maybe why I'm finding that I can enjoy. I'm finding like excitement in what I'm having for my dinner the night. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely the right mindset. I mean, one of the other ones that was quite interesting, or quite disappointing during the week in terms of people's mindsets, as this new reality became sort of pressing, and we knew it was only 24 to 40 hours away before they sort of pulled the trigger on it. We had the announcements, obviously the McDonald's and Primark were closing, and I kind of joked online saying, like, let's hope that people don't stockpile Big Macs and leggings. And then, like 24 hours later, actually seen every McDonald's up and down the country queued miles out the door with people trying to ram in that last sort of burger. And like, I've got to be honest with you, man, my heart sank a wee bit, so it did, because it felt to me like just pure addict behaviour. Like, somebody's like, oh, you can't get this, and they're fuck, let's go and like binge on it right now before it's no a thing anymore. And you're like, I think we could have, in the midst of this, folk could have probably done without the McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like,
aye, man.
Especially considering, it's almost certainly either infecting them or somebody else, or putting somebody at McDonald's at risk. And I don't get why anybody would want to eat in those circumstances with this virus as such a prominent. Who's like pure, I know, I'm going to just nip down to McDonald's. You're like, no, man, like, what are you doing? Like, and it kind of ties in with the pubs and all these other things as well, but you're just like, definitely questionable mentalities on display here.
I know, man. I mean, these are the same people that went and queued at the M8 when they opened the Krispy Kreme in Edinburgh, dude. I don't get it personally. I do understand it. Like there was a couple of nights last week where I'd said to Sean, "Why don't we get this? Because we don't know how long that we've got." Do you know what I mean? Well, we've got the opportunity. Why don't we grab it? And that's all right if you're just thinking that. But if you're sitting about like no even thinking about it, just pure blah blah blah, and then they're like, right, we're shutting the night, and you're like, I need to go and get a Big Mac, or I need to go and get chicken nuggets, so let's go and one last McDonald's. Is it really like you're saying? You need to wait up, man. Is it really fucking worth it? Like,
No.
and it isn't. Like, it really isn't. I think that weekend there before they announced the lockdown on Monday night, I mean, watching people treat that Sunday there like it was a bank holiday Monday was actually like, it was a wee bit devastating. You're like, guys, what the fuck is going on? And for the main response to be, well, I'm young, fit and healthy. Like, we've created a nation of individuals, I think through like the amount of fucking consumerism and capitalism, we've created just this massive country of individuals, and now we're having to get people to come together. There's just a percentage of people.
We see everybody else as other, you know what I mean? Like, it's no us, they are other, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way we've been conditioned to think about these things, you know what I mean? Like, and that's definitely something that's changing. Like, there have been a good number of instances of folk really sort of pulling together. Some of it, admittedly, has maybe got a wee bit cringy. Talking about some of the celebrity stuff, I get that it's well intentioned, but the Imagine thing was rough, man. It really was. I get tricked, so I did, because they obviously thought this through and, you know, put Gal Gadot up first, and I seen her face and was pure, oh, she's pretty, and clicked on the link, and at that point it was just too late. So it was like, I was fucking having to listen to it, and I was like, get pure sucker punched.
Oh, mate, I mean, I think
deserved it.
Don McGarvey's commentary of like, thank fuck we got some celebrities singing to us for their fucking yoga patches in their garden or whatever. I think it was kind of perfectly summed up that these people actually, that mindset, like that just shows you how like disconnected for reality that sort
some
of
them are, definitely.
Do you think that would have what kind of impact are you expecting that to have? That we got 30 celebrities to sing one line out of Imagine for their mansions. Thanks very much. Like,
I wonder who organised it. Who was the original idea? Whether, you know, you've been the guy going around 30 celebrities, and like, I wonder how many say no. Like, did anybody did they get all 30 at the first, you know, attempt? Nobody at any point in the process went to the organiser. You get this is probably a bit cringy, right?
That's got to have been some kind of fucking management agent type idea.
The same super agent or whatever.
Positive PR. It's like, guys, you're all fucking stupid rich, man. How about you fucking throw some money into the pot? Fuck, we don't need you to sing John Lennon to us. We can listen to John Lennon sing it, and it's way better than this absolute pish that you're sending out to the world. Like, take it back.
Actually be poignant.
I think every single one of them must have just been, as soon as they seen the reaction, I'll bet you every single one of them went, oh fuck, like I instantly regret this shit. Instantly regret that.
I think there was the Madonna one as well. What was she? I never watched the video because it was her naked in a bath or some shit, and I was like, right, do you know what? Nope. Big bag of nope.
Aye.
The industry's good ones though. I mean, I quite liked. I thought Liam Gallagher was brilliant with Wonder Wash and Supersonic while he was like washing his hands.
There has been a couple of good things.
Couple of decent ones out there, you know what I mean? Like, I quite enjoyed the sort of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost like reenacting the sort of famous call for, you know, was it Shaun of the Dead? We'll get to the pub and, you know, let all this blow over.
I get to the Winchester.
I get to the Winchester.
Let everything just blow over.
Aye.
Man, brilliant.
That was pretty cool. I quite enjoyed that.
Some of the adverts, like, there's people out there that are literally trying to like cash in on this. One of the ones that I'd seen was fucking.
A lot of adverts for Wills.
A lot of adverts for what?
Wills, like, you know, like a last will and testament.
Oh fuck! Whoa, that's dark.
Aye.
That's dark.
I know.
No, I was thinking more that there's been a lot of sort of like influencers pushing crystals onto people, do you know, like this type of
right, okay, fair enough.
holistic.
So we're at different ends of the spectrum on this one then.
There's definitely going to be a report that comes out that says that cannabis kills coronavirus. And see if that is the case, I'm going to be fucking fine, dude. Like, I'm fucking set.
Aye.
But there's definitely, like, part of the CBD community is there's been a couple of wee bits sort of like debunking that that's the case, and like sort of salt baths, and like lemon. I think there was like some sort of burning of herbs that was happening to try and say that this could cure it. The best one that I did see though, one of the evangelical guys was claiming that he could cure it through the TV. In America.
Oh, nice.
It was the famous dude, see the one that got confronted where they asked him about like why he has a car and a private jet, and he came away with something absolutely fucking hilarious. He looks like a walking mannequin, the guy. He's like made of plastic.
God wants me to have a private jet.
But even on top of that, like a level down for that, like I've noticed that the algorithms haven't stopped, so like people's just normal advertising campaigns for whatever, you know, like order and get delivered tomorrow. You're like, no, that swiping through the ads and going, you've clearly just paid for these ads and scheduled them and forgot all about them during the fucking madness. Like Gwyneth Paltrow get like absolutely roasted for selling some sort of like clothing range, like trying to be like, well, spring and summer clothing range 2020, and it's like, guys, please, like, can we just have a wee bit of self-awareness, even if it's only for like 15 minutes here? See the length of your 15 minutes of fame. See if you just use that and be self-aware about what you're saying, about what you're advertising. Just can we have that for like, please, just while we like can stop smashing our head against a brick wall with all this shit.
Aye. So no, that definitely was not in the sort of Wills territory that I've been seeing. Which I seen it and I was like, that is balls out, man.
I'm actually considering going and looking for one now. I'm like, maybe I'll make a fucking will.
Maybe I'm on commission. But I seen somebody, I seen an advert where somebody had actually had that message. And I don't know if it was maybe like a piss take or whatever, but it was one of the clothing brands released a picture of a woman sitting on like just a bog stand-up kitchen chair, and just like everyday clothes, and it was like, you know, get ready for work, as if you're like still get dressed up even if you're working for the house. And I was like, you know what, fair play to you there. You have definitely kind of like seen, here's a wee slither where we can be appropriate and still maybe sell some shit. You know what I mean? What?
Absolutely.
That's the only example I've come across. You know what I mean?
Do you think that that's kind of like distasteful, or like are we over it already? Where we can still, people can start using the virus and the fact that we're on lockdown as a way to sell their fucking products to us?
I think I would definitely give extra points to somebody that finds appropriate ways to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not wanting to switch on my telly and like see adverts for discount coffins. You know what I mean? But
definitely not. Man.
There's the line. You know what I mean? Like, but if you can work with it, then work with it. That's what's going to get people through it. You know what I mean? Or get businesses through it, is how they adapt to it. You know what I mean?
All right. I'm quite looking forward to what, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see it soon, but what are these fucking hyper egos going to come up with while they're in isolation? Like, what kind of fucking content are we going to be waking up to sometimes? Like, I'm pretty sure that Kanye is bang on for a meltdown. And I think it's going to happen, like, on Instagram Live or something. We're literally going to see somebody pure implode, like, watching their ego dissolve right in fucking front of them. I'm actually, I'm hoping that happens a wee bit.
Okay. We're back in, like, sacrificing Britney Spears territory here, as we know. We're just looking for somebody to melt down so that we can watch it. But I think there's been a few that came pretty close. The fella that was the bearded celebrity guy who was telling about how he still goes outside, still shake hands, and I'm still having meetings. And, like,
Ant-Man
20
Fallon.
minutes later, right, okay. Whoever. Is he like SAS tough enough or something?
That's
like that?
right, that's a dude, man. Aye.
Right. So 20 minutes later, or whatever, he's had the phone for his agent going, walk every single last word of that back right now. You know, so
absolutely.
He came pretty close to the edge, I think, to be honest with you.
He was nearly there. He was almost there. Do you know, all that he needed was a double down. He didn't do it, but I was like, it's close. Like, it was nearly there. It was, do you know what really, like, and this is the type of shit that we're going to be noticing, is that these types of people, it was the smugness these posts, like, I won't be affected, like, am I keep my hands clean and hygienic as normal? Yes. It's like, mate, you need to double them out. Like, fuck, man, where's this guy been? And then he comes out and he explains it, so you think, this guy's been living under a fucking rock, what's going on? This guy's mental, and everybody's getting ready to cancel him, and then he comes out and goes, listen, I've been in New Zealand, like, in the fucking outback for whatever, I'm sorry. You're kind of like, that makes sense, dude, because it was ridiculous. The posts that he was putting out were fucking ridiculous. He was close, but he just saved it. We need to come up with this. This could be a section. Like, this could be a section on the podcast. Like, who's lost it this week?
Like the Deadpool, who have we got for losing it this week? There was the High School Musical lassie as well. She was getting it tight, which, you know, she's been one of the Disney princess types. I don't know what her name is.
Nah.
Is it Selena
Gomez?
No, Selena Gomez. No. Never mind. Anyway.
Aye.
So there has been a few instances where
the SAS guy is this week's almost exactly.
Aye.
But the SAS guy this week is like this week's guy. Like, he almost lost it. And we'll look forward to next week picking up. Hopefully somebody's lost it by next week. We could take some bets. I mean, we could put some suggestions out on Twitter feed and be like, who do you think's going to lose it this week? I don't know, man. Might be slightly insensitive.
I was going to say,
I'm putting my money on Kanye, but mate,
I think he's a pretty safe bet, like 365 days a year. But you know what I mean? Like,
is that cheating then?
You know, I think there's, you know, any given day you could wake up to somebody being like, holy shit, Kanye West lost it, and you're like, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Another thing that's been sort of like mentioned and stuff that I mean, that's just became very apparent really, is that sort of the way the system's just been sort of chipped upside down. So what was last week, or maybe 2-3 weeks ago, being classed as an unskilled worker is all of a sudden like real life superheroes. Mm-hmm. And I know we mentioned it last week and we're thanking them. Obviously, it's like ever grateful to the people that are still out there, like trying to save lives and putting themselves and their families at risk. But just wanted to just chat a wee bit about, like, how do we go back? Like, I mean, we've touched on it last episode, this episode, about some of the changes, but how do we go back to, I mean, some of these nurses, I was watching the news the other night, just after the update, and they were saying that they've went for the picket line to the front line, and that nurses in Belfast were out on the picket line taking days where they weren't getting paid to try and fight for equal pay for nurses in the NHS. How do we go back to that? Like, I genuinely cannot see getting back to a world where we're told that we can't afford to pay these people a proper fucking wage for the work that they're doing.
I would like to agree with you in that respect, but I think what the argument will be the minute this sort of goes and dies down a bit is that we have sunk unprecedented levels into the country in terms of finance, and that bill now needs to be paid. And I would not be in the slightest bit surprised if, you know, we wake up to some sort of like austerity on crack come the other side of this, to be honest with you, because they've got their golden bullet that says, right now, when the chips were down, we had your back. Now it's time to
repay the debt.
Yep. So
this is my worry as well, dude. That's
the only meaningful circumstance in which I think they can justify going back to what the status quo has been up until this point, is that they just use this as an excuse, and a lot of folk will say to themselves, well, I survived because the NHS was functional, or I was able to stay and look after my kids for 5 months because I was getting paid 80% of my wages. You know what I mean? And it's going to be, you know what I mean? There will be a level of goodwill towards some of the steps that have been taken by both the government and people who are also coordinating efforts to sort of fight this. And it might buy them enough cover to say, so bill's due, like get the wallets out. You know what I mean? I hope it doesn't, but again, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I hope that it doesn't. They've just proven that if there's money, there's always money there. That do you know what I mean? That, but
it's completely fictitious numbers in a computer system. Like it's, you know what I mean? Well, that's why they can always invent merit. It's because we know it's no real. You know what I mean? Like, it's no link to anything. It's just numbers on a screen that they move about as and when suits them.
Well, you would go. I mean, this is the argument now we're seeing quite a lot, is people arguing for UBI, and we've spoke about it multiple times on the podcast. But that would be a nice bonus. That'd be a nice bonus for people that work in the NHS if the government came out and said we're going to give everybody, say, £1,000 a month universal basic income. I think there was talk that if they were going to do it, it would be costed at £1,250, so £1,250. The NHS workers would get that, so that the Tesco workers would get that all on top of their wage. So that would be like a way of rewarding them. It doesn't look like this government have got any appetite for universal basic income, but the opposition benches are definitely screaming about it, and we could get it in Scotland, of course.
Potentially. I mean, obviously the Tory majority is going to maintain, that doesn't happen down south for the foreseeable future. It depends on how deep the hole gets, I think. If there's months rather than weeks of this, then they might be left in the other option. You know what I mean? When you're already covering 80% of people's wages anyway, is it that big a jump to the next 20%? And when you're giving tax breaks to businesses, and I'd like to see a wee bit more of that sort of trickle down. I know there's been amendments to universal credit and, various sort of tax breaks for, family tax credits and these types of things, but I think there's definitely more that can be done, because at the minute, as guys like me get to self-isolate for the first time during all this process, there are still folk out there, and it's... Sorry, I completely lost my chain of thought there.
No, I think that there's just... I hope that everybody pulls together and we can just say that there's no turning back. Like, if they're going to move homeless people into vacant council houses, the voice should shout back, why have you not done that before? Like, why are we letting people be homeless if there's enough space for people to go? Why are we not fucking putting them there? Like, for fuck's sake. Like, I think that there'll be certain aspects that there'll just be no turning back, and I think that you're right. There'll probably become a point where there's going to be a sort of fork in the road where we're asked to make the decision, and we need to make the decision really with everything meaningful, and it'll be, do we go back to the way that things were, or do we adopt a new way of economics? I mean, and I'm personally hoping that we vote, or we vote with our feet, and we vote with our money, and we vote with the way that we invest our money, because ultimately we've got the power, and I hope that we realise that, and we can actually fucking nail bastards like Ashley to the fucking ground, or at least remove their fucking presence of being a major provider of jobs in this fucking country. Like, fuck pricks like him, fuck them. Like, they're scum. Definitely, they're absolute fucking scum, man. It's shocking. Asking people to risk their fucking life and their family's life for fucking nothing, for an insurance claim. Do you know what I mean? It's actually, it's enraging, man. It really is.
I'm definitely trying to be mindful of my anger levels. That's something that, over a prolonged period of time, if I'm not careful with it, will absolutely sort of burn me down and locked up in the house for 3 weeks. But yeah, it's not to say that the anger isn't justified. You know what I mean? It's just that I'm actively trying not to engage with it right now, or else I'll spend 3 weeks screaming it was. You know what I mean?
I suppose that's the reason why I'm taking fucking time out every day.
You're 8 days ahead. You're 8 days ahead in the process. So
aye, man.
Aye.
So, I mean, what do you think about lockdown? Do you think that? I mean, we can talk about like how. I mean, we're talking in the last sort of few days and about the last couple of podcasts. We it seems to be so coincidental that we were talking about fucking eugenics, and then the next week that was herd immunity for them to just completely and utterly backtrack and U-turn. And then claim that the herd immunity was not the policy when they've got sound bites. It's been strange to watch Piers Morgan actually be like a reasonable voice in amongst a lot of this. It's almost like the world is actually fucking upside down. Like, I don't know if I'm like dreaming.
I don't know if I agree necessarily with that like assessment, because I've heard a few people say something very similar about Trump, that look, he's making so much sense and blah, and you're like, I don't think that that's the case with guys like Morgan and guys like Trump. I think
it's just populist.
The rest of us have lost our shit to the point that these guys seem sensible right now.
That might be true. That might be true.
We have a level of mass hysteria that has shut down some of our critical thinking, as is always the case in dangerous situations where it becomes about fight or flight, and like we are panicked and uneasy and uncertain to the point where what would normally be classed as ridiculous statements or axe grinding is, well, maybe actually he has a point there. You know what I mean? Well, in actual fact, if you look at some of the stuff, particularly like Trump in the last week or two has been spitting out, just absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? Like total garbage. And I don't listen or interact with Piers Morgan in any way, but I can imagine that probably some of his stuff is in broadly similar terms. You know what I mean?
I've not really kept up that much with Trump. I mean, I seen a video the day where he was at the podium, behind the podium at a press conference, and he asked a question. Whoever was actually like addressing the press, I was like, what the fuck? I mean, he is completely and utterly out of his depth. This is like, I mean, this is, you've got to imagine that this is going to be a political disaster for Trump. But
he's telling them that.
I think it's going to go the other way. I think they're going to back him. I think
who knows?
You're hearing American people and like social media and YouTube podcasts saying that they think that this has been some sort of like conspiracy against the American government to like tank their economy. You're like, the world is bigger than the United States. I'm sorry to say.
Absolutely.
But the rhetoric now that's coming for Trump is get back to work.
So I think at the minute, because unity and togetherness and the need for us all to sort of pull together is so present in everybody's minds that, people may think, oh, well, do you know what? Let's not worry about elections. Let's not think about it. But I think if and when this dies down, like November is still a ways off for the American electorate, and I think there's plenty of time for him to actually show his true colours, or for people to sort of come to their senses. But I mean, he's been saying some absolutely crazy shit, like tests are available to everybody when there's no tests, like it's covered by your insurance when it's not covered by your insurance. He's actually had like several instances in his press conferences where he would say some whatever outlandish shit he's saying in that moment, and then one of his actual cabinet members sitting 3 chairs down and then on the big massive wooden table in their cabinet office has to like step forward and correct them in front of the entire press corps. That's happened like 2 or 3 times, as well as him, as you say, interrupting other people's speeches to try and inject his message and his, the questions he wants the press to hear into these proceedings. And like, it's absolutely wild. You know what I mean? The guy is off his rocker, and as you say, just completely out of his depth. But if people were more interested in just getting through this and pulling together, it's going to buy guys like him a wee bit of slack. I mean, they were talking about the Chancellor of the Exchequer like he was some sort of working class hero, and like all he's really done is He's provided this 80% cover, tax breaks, and all the rest. There's still massive holes in it. For a guy with such a short term at Westminster, his voting record's appalling if you care to look up for it. So I think we need to be careful not to. We're looking for heroes, we're looking for people to step up and lead us out of this. And these guys are in positions to look like that's what they're doing. But I think we also probably need to be aware of the fact that maybe that's not actually what's happening in some of the cases.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, dude. And one of the big worries for me is, like, there's a lot of power, and I think rightfully so. There's a lot of sort of power getting given to the government, and we need to be careful that we don't do what the Americans did post 9/11 and just
with the Patriot Act.
and just allow perpetual, like, so this is the new norm. And like, I mean, if you were to sit and think about it in those terms, right, we have not only accepted but actively sought out a sort of police lockdown and curfew. If you were to really like think about it historically, this could be the start of something that could be almost fascist and totalitarian, and we need to be very, very, very fucking careful.
It'd be extremely easy to abuse. I think when we talk about the legislation, there obviously needs to be time limits on the powers that are being made available to the government. They have to be subject to, every 3 to 6 months. You can't have an estimate that this is a 6 month long issue and then legislate for the next 2 years in those terms, because those two things just shouldn't go together. So
absolutely agree.
Definitely more than ever needs to be oversight of what the decisions are getting made at this level. But time limiting this legislation in the UK is absolutely vital. So it needs parliamentary consent on a regular basis to be so invasive. But there is a legitimate argument there to say that right now things need to be this invasive. You know what I mean? So it's hard to argue against it in certain degrees, but civil liberties wise, we need to be extremely cautious at the moment, because this is the type of thing that if you have that mentality to take control, or not even necessarily coups as in the UK, but there are other places in the world that could use this type of lockdown as a pretense to take control and overthrow and all these other things. So, everybody needs to be vigilant. Yeah,
absolutely, man. I mean, I just hope that that is the rules that they've set out into it, is that they want it for 2 years in this country, but the opposition are asking for 6 months or a 30-day rolling thing. But
that's the broad strokes as I remember it for the other day. But I've not read the full detail.
We just need to be very careful. But
extraordinary times, isn't it?
Man, see if you were to go back 2 years ago and fuck, dude, can you imagine just fucking thinking about it? It would be unimaginable. And this has been something that it's just sort of pondering on it and stuff, just how quickly we've just we're adapting to this, or we're trying to adapt to this. It's actually like quite fucking remarkable to think about that we've just all of a sudden, the past 14 days, life has changed. The last 30 days, life has changed so dramatically that it is almost unrecognisable. And yet here we are sitting just sort of chatting about it. You know what I mean?
I think again, with my work circumstances changing, that side, it will be something that hits me more in the coming days, and I might be in a better position to kind of verbalise some of it, in next week's episode or whatever. But right now, I've been essentially forced to business as usual, and I'm not quite in the same headspace as a lot of other folk as a result, but I can imagine that after 2 or 3 weeks dobbed up in the house that I'll get there pretty quickly, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. We need to be careful as well about how we talk about it. I mean, there was a fair amount of people that when lockdown, people that are just concerned about their health. I mean, I'm not having a pop at anybody. If this is the way that you were, then I'm not saying that it was wrong, but I think you need to just be very careful that you're not celebrating these things. There's a lot of people coming out yes, I don't need to go to work tomorrow, and that's because they've got concerns for their own health, and that's fine, but there are so many people out there that are classed as key workers and are actually key workers, not people like the fucking Sports Direct mob, or
Aye.
the fucking people that'll try to keep their pubs open, that are just thinking about their own fucking money and their own. But again, just sort of.
It's hard not to do that if you're a small pub and a small business. You
Absolutely,
know what I mean?
man.
Same with people who are self-employed. Like a lot of our previous guests who are in the entertainment industry now find themselves, obviously struggling for work and trying to adapt, as we've discussed. But then I kind of had a situation with a taxi driver the other day, and I was basically being ferried into work in a taxi. Well, the work sent one to pick me up and sent one to take me home to avoid public transport. And I was talking with the driver, as you do, and he was like, it's the government's not doing this and that, and I was like, I'm totally with you, mate. Like this is all it is. You know what I mean? He went, but I'm like self-employed. I'm a taxi driver and that, and I was like, well, mate, we're no measuring dicks here. Like I get that it's a really hard time for you. Like there are loads of wee niches out there that still need more protection than they're getting. You know what I mean? Like I think families, as I say, these schools being closed is a massive impact on people's lives and ability to earn. And the furlough is a great step forward, but as you say, there's some companies that are, when's it going to come in? It might be backdated to the 1st of March, but people might not get it until some point in the middle or late April. So there's potentially weeks between now and then where families and people who don't already qualify for support are going to need help. You know what I mean? So the government definitely needs to get his finger out in that respect for me.
I think that they're hearing rumours this morning that they're bringing in the same thing. I think like self-employed, statutory self-employment or something like that they're going to call it. And they'll cover again 80% up to if you can prove it. And then...
But it shouldn't be hard if you're submitting all your taxes to HMRC as a self-employed person.
Absolutely, and you've got all your invoices and everything that you send to people, so...
exactly. So the more of that, the better. We need to start plugging these gaps, because if this is going to go for at least 3 weeks, then we need to be using this time to get further out in front of it, because right now we've been behind it the whole way. You know what I mean? And the dithering and some of the decision making, as we've questioned already, has left us in a position where we're in lockdown essentially now. Like, let's get people the support they need. Like they're abiding by your instructions. They're getting off the streets. They're trying to relieve the strain on the NHS. Now, get the people who still need covered, because you know what I mean, we don't know how long this is going to last, really, do we? You know what I mean, we say 3 weeks, but other countries have already extended, more than one. So we need to understand that that's also a distinct possibility here too. You know what I mean? So, definitely meant to be done.
Well, I mean, anything else going on? I mean, it's almost like you can't. There's everything's went on to pause, isn't it? Although, sadly, I did watch one of the goals for the fucking Celtic Pez thing that they did at the weekend, and had to like slap myself around the fucking head. That I was like
esports or something.
They had Celtic v St Johnstone on esports, and they were commentating on it on the Twitter feed like it was a real game, and then they put the highlights up.
Was it like the full 11? Or was it like just two guys that you're supposed to playing each other, or did they have like
I don't know.
Everybody in?
I don't know. Because all I did was see that it was happening, looked and seen that it was 1-0 to Celtic, watched the goal, and then slapped myself in the head and was like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
This is a computer game.
Like,
I don't know, man. Like, there's some big esports that, places in America, the League of Legends stuff and all the rest of it, they fill football stadiums with people watching, League of Legends tournaments and stuff like that. Like, there isn't a big industry out there for it. It's not something that really qualifies as my idea of fun. You know what I mean? Like, but each to their own again. You know what I mean? If what's getting you through is watching folk play football or FIFA, then get tore in. You know what I mean? But no, I don't have much else. Just, would say to folk that the last one I probably would want to raise is like the fake news. So we've a lot of misinformation, a lot of rumour. I'm not going to go into specifics because it relates to my work, but there was a scenario in which some misinformation got to us and caused a level of panic in the last week. And it was deeply, deeply unpleasant. And as people sit in their houses and wonder about what's happening next. It's going to be really important that folk are conscious of what they're sharing, how they're sharing it, and the actual sort of veracity of it, because, rumours in a social media age are going to spread like wildfire. If they're counterproductive, then, that's probably going to be every bit as dangerous at this point as no advising, no following the advice, because people are going to be in a very virtual space for the next couple of weeks. So I'd be, extremely wary of some of the rumours and gossip that we share.
I mean, we were hearing for everybody's brother and their brother-in-law and their pals that the army were on the street on Friday night, and that Glasgow and Edinburgh Airport had the army there waiting to go, which obviously turned out to be absolute fucking nonsense. But again, like you're saying, that is somebody that's...
An MP. That was an MP asking First Minister's questions, and I mean that should not be happening at that level. Like, these guys in power who are briefed, who are in the loop or have the ability to be, like, should not be coming on and spreading Twitter rumours in the bloody Holyrood Chamber, like, or Westminster or anywhere else for that matter. You know what I mean? Like, misinformation and fake news could be extremely dangerous for people at this point. I'm certainly going to be extremely wary of what I'm sharing.
Absolutely, as well. I'm just going to... I mean, as much as possible, I'm just going to make sure that it's like official stuff and official statistics, and no somebody's interpretation or somebody's like, the flu kills 80,000 people every year, and if we were to know that and it was to get the same coverage as what the coronavirus is getting, then we would always be in lockdown. No, that's no the case. Is that if you look at the amount of people that contract fucking the flu, it's about the percentage of people, how likely you are to contract it, and then the percentage of people that die. Like, the amount of people that die every year in fucking road crashes, do you know what I mean? That could be applied across any...
Comparing apples with oranges. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People that are, well, what about mental health? And you're like, well, we're not asking you to think in either or terms here. Yes, people's mental health is important. Yes, we should absolutely do everything that we should to minimise suicide and self-harm and addiction and all these things, but we should also stop people from dying for coronavirus. And, like, these are no either-or scenarios, so making those comparisons again can be pretty unhelpful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, mate. So, I think the comparison with flu is really unhelpful because the symptoms are pretty similar as well. So it just gets people to draw that sort of horrible
comparisons
conclusion.
With SARS and all these H1N1s. Oh, H1N1 was supposed to kill us all, and you're like, these are, are viruses. These are of similar, scenarios and similar spreads, but, like, this is so different that you have to follow the advice, and I think that's probably where I would wrap up what I've got to say tonight, is just
absolutely, mate.
Sit tight, don't, as Shane for Drunk Therapy says, don't be a dick, and, like, just follow the advice and be safe, and hopefully, next week we can, with a bit of time now, we can maybe try and come with a bit of a lighter tone, eh?
Absolutely. Aye, let's see if we can come up with something that's a wee bit less virusy if everything sort of calms down.
I'm pretty sure it's going to still be there the week after anyway, you know what I mean? So we can come back with it. It's already now we're third repeat guest. We had Darren in twice. We've had obviously the UBI chat with Jamie twice, and now we've got a third returning guest in coronavirus.
Aye, so put that one.
The first one to do the hat trick. You know what I mean?
I think it deserves it.
We need to get one of the balls for, like, Soccer AM. When everybody's done their third appearance, they give them a hat trick ball. So we need to sort one out for the coronavirus next week.
Absolutely, mate. Well, cheers for fucking Skyping in again.
No worries, mate.
I'm looking forward to the day when we get back in and we can get a guest in as well.
I know. I listened back to last week's, or sort of dipped into it for the sound quality, and my joke about broadcasting for Darth Vader's helmet wasn't far off.
No, so was not, mate.
I want to get back to a proper mic as soon as possible, man.
Cool, mate.
Stay
great. Safe, mate. All right. Cheers.
You too. Bye.
Lightning falls when there is panic in the sky. Pentecost, when all but fear is left to die. You tell it like it's fantasy, something that you're never going to be. Same old story every day. There's just one thing that I have to say, that if we believe, if we trusted you, then I don't know why you say the things you do. You'd see a whole new way to be, giving honest answers and not those lies to me. Empty halls now filled with echoes of their past. Honor stars, they lived each day like it's their last. You tell it like it's fantasy, something that you're never going to be. Same old story every day. There's just one thing that I have to say, that if we believe, if we trusted you, then I don't know why you say the things you do. You'd see a whole new way to be, giving honest answers and not those lies to me. I can tell that you're on a mission just to break the walls down time and time again. If it wasn't true, would it be okay to break the walls down time and time again? That if we believe, if we trusted you, then I don't know why you say the things you do. You'd see a whole new way to be, giving honest answers and not those lies to me. Believe, if we trusted you, then I don't know why you say the things you do. You'd see a whole new way to be, giving honest answers and not those lies to me.